Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. I apologize that this video for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt is later than I normally post. However, I had COVID and have just now recovered from it and have even wanted to sew. I was very sick for a while, but now I am back and I am ready to sew and ready to put together clue number 5 from the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So sweet. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we've got going for clue number 5. Okay, let's go ahead and see what's inside our So Sweet Bakery treat today. We got clue packet 5, and I can already see we got a little goodie with this one as well. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and take a look at what's inside. All right, the first thing off the bat here is we got a little goodie from Cotton Cuts. Since we're halfway through our Puzzle Mystery Quilt, Cotton Cuts likes to give us a little goodie for that celebration of making it halfway. So this is a little Cotton Cuts magnet. I think I'm gonna go put this out on my car, to be honest, because it's I like it. I like it a lot, and it'll let other Cotton Cut enthusiasts know that I'm a Cotton Cut enthusiast as well. So appreciate them giving us that, or at least giving me. It just depends on what you get. Some people get different things, so I'm very happy to have that. But anyways, I'll put that off to the side for now. I do have my fabric guide to tell me which fabrics go where, and then I of course have my instructions for clue 5 for the large Puzzle Mystery Quilt of powdered. So inside of our packet we have 28, goodness gracious, 28 half square triangles, small half square triangles of fabric A. We have 8 small triangles of fabric C. We have 4 small triangles of fabric F. We have 16 squares of fabric C. And then we have 12 large triangles of fabric E. This is the only large piece that we've gotten in this kit for this clue, and so it's pretty easy to tell which one's which. But anyways, we have large triangles of fabric E, and that's all that's in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on the table behind me, and we'll get started with step number 1. All right, we're going to go ahead and start our clue 5 with step number 1, and it says to join a small triangle of A to the right of a square of C, and we're going to make 12 of these. So we're not going to use all of our squares, because how many did we have in this packet? We had 16 of our squares to start off with, so we're not going to use all of them, we're just going to use 12 of them, and we're going to put our A fabric to the right, just like this, and we're going to sew that seam, and then we're going to press them from our A to our C, so from the triangle to the square, but I'll come back whenever it's time to do that, and we're going to make 12 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to my sewing machine and make that happen. Alright, I have my stack of 12, well actually 11 because I'm about to do the 12. Remember that we are pressing towards our square, so I'm just going to press it out just like that. So now we have 12 units that look like this. There we go. Okay, so that's what it looks like right now, and we're done with step 1. Let's go ahead and move on to step 2. All right, moving on to step number 2, it says to join a small triangle of A above a step 1 unit, and we're going to make 8. Oh, we're going to go down to 8. So we're going to set some of those other ones off to the side out of our 12. We're only going to make 8 of these, and it will look like that whenever we're done. It looks like it won't match up, but whenever we get the seam allowances all put in there, it will. So pay attention, you only have to do 8 of these. So I'm actually going to go over to my table right now and count out 8 of these units, so that way I don't end up accidentally just going ahead and sewing them all. So that's all we're going to do for step number 2. We're just going to add this small triangle of A up to the top like this onto 8 of the units, and then I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Alright, we are done with step 2. We're pressing towards our A fabric, so we're pressing up towards the triangle at the very top, and just like that. Oh, I like how, well, I was looking at this parrot, and it looks like it framed it nicely, but it kind of cut the beak off a little bit. It's okay, it's got a nice pattern in it. Okay, I'm talking way too much, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to step number 3. Okay, next up for step number 3, it says to join a step 2 unit to a large triangle of E as shown. So basically we're just flipping our step 2 180 degrees, and we're going to match it up to our large triangle of E to create a half square triangle that has E fabric in the lower left corner and then our C fabric in the top right corner. And we're going to make 8 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of my material, sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I have finished step number 3. And remember, with half square triangles, the easiest way to press them out, by the way, we're pressing towards our E fabric. The best way to press them out, at least that I have found, is to go up, back down, and then over, and back, and just kind of press it out from there. That seems to keep the warping down to a minimum with what I have done so far of the puzzle mystery quilts. It really kind of does help keep them a little more flat. Okay, so we have something that looks like this when we're all done. And we're done with step 3. Let's go ahead and move on to step 4. All right, moving on to step 4, what it says to do is it says to join a step 1 unit. So remember, we had 4 of these step 1s just left hanging out there. And we're going to join it above a step 3 unit, and we're going to make 4 of these. So we're going to look for our A fabric to make our bow tie right here, just like this. So we're going to make 4 of these. Hush you. My watch sometimes goes off when I forget to turn off the sound. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and put these together so that way we have our bow ties together, our C squares matching up diagonally, and we're going to make 4 of these just like this. And I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, I have finished that, so now it's time to press upwards. Basically, we're pressing towards our what we just did for step 3 unit? No, we're pressing away from our step 3 unit towards our step 1 unit. I was looking over at the directions there. And there we go. So we have 4 that look like this when it's all said and done. So now let's go ahead and move on to step number 5. Okay, moving on to step number 5, it says to join a small triangle A above a square of C. We're going to make 4 of these. So it looks like we're kind of setting everything off to the side for the moment. What we just finished in step 4, and we're going to make some more of these triangle square units. So I'm going to go ahead and sew 4 of these together just like this, and we'll come back and finish it out when it's, or press it out, I should say, when I've finished all 4 of those. Okay, I finished sewing all 4 of those together. We're pressing towards our A fabric, towards our triangle, just like that. And now it looks like we're going to be adding these on. Let me go ahead and grab those pieces and we'll move on to step 6. All right, moving on to step 6, we're going to take our step 5 unit that we just made. We're going to attach it to the right of a step 4 unit that we completed just a few steps ago. And again, we're looking for those bow ties to meet just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and take them over to the sewing machine, and we're going to make 4 of these all together. So I'm going to put those 4 together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, I have finished that. It's time to press, and we're pressing towards what we just added on clue 6. So we're going to be pressing towards that or away from what we did on step 4. So we just press it out just like that. We have our wonderful bow ties coming together. And we have our 3 C squares in a row diagonally. It's looking really great. Let's go ahead and move on to step number 7. Okay, moving on to step number 7, it says to join a large triangle of E to step unit 6 as shown, and we're going to make 4 of these. So all we're just doing is completing the pattern. It's pretty easy to figure out where it goes, but we're just going to line it up along that seam right there. We're going to sew that, and then we're going to press towards our E fabric, and we're going to make 4 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 4 pieces and sew these together. All right, we have finished, or at least I've finished all of that. And remember, up, back down, over, and then work the rest out. There we go. It's looking pretty good. I've got all my points still visible. In fact, this one may be a little too visible, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. All right, so we have our, let's see, it's supposed to go this way. So we have all 4 that look like this. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and set these off to the side, and we'll come back to them, and we're gonna move on to step number 8. Okay, moving on to step number 8, it says to join a small triangle of F to a small triangle of C. We're going to make 4 of these in total, and we're going to press them towards our C fabric whenever we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 4 together. I'll come back when it's time to move on to step 9. All right, it is time to press these out. We're pressing towards our C fabric, so I'm pressing it up and then over. This is a little easier to do because these are smaller ones, and my little iron is perfect for that. But there we go, we've got our 4 FC triangles. Remember, we pressed towards C on this step, and now we're gonna go ahead and move on to step number 9. Moving on to step number 9, it says to join a small triangle of A to a small triangle of C. We're going to make 4 of these. This should be the last of our loose fabric, I guess. The rest of it has been sewn, but we're just going to sew these together, and we're going to make 4 of them like we've been doing. So I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, I have sewn all of them together. We're pressing towards our C fabric. So I'm doing that right now here on the last one. And it looks just like that. All right, so I have sewn all 4 of those together. Let's move on to step 10. Okay, moving on to step 10, it says to join a step 8 unit above a step 9 unit, and we're going to make 4 of them. So it may be a little hard, like my brain is having a little trouble processing this because it wants to put like things together, and unfortunately on this one we don't have like fabrics that are going to be butting up against each other. So you have we do have 2 C square, or excuse me, 2 C triangles, but they're both on the bottom. One is facing left, one is facing right, and we're just going to put them together just like this with our F fabric up in the top right corner, and we're going to make 4 of these in total. All right, we have finished that, so I'm going to go ahead and press it. It says to press towards our step 8, so that's going to be your F and C fabric. So I've done that, and now I have 4 of those just like so. It's time to move on to step 11. All right, moving on to step 11, it says to join a step 10 unit to the right of a step 3 unit as shown. We're going to make 4 of these in total. So here are our bow ties across from each other, the A fabric forming that bow tie, and then you have a C square and then a C triangle diagonally right there. So it should look something like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew 4 of these together, and I'll come back here when it's time to press it out. Okay, I have completed our step 11. I pressed towards, what was that, step 3? I think that was step 3. Which one? Yeah, that was step 3. So I pressed towards my step 3. Now it's time to move on to step 12. All right, moving on to step 12, all we're going to do is we're going to join a step 7 unit above a step 11 unit. And we're going to make 4 of these. So we're just going to put these on just like this. So we have kind of our bow ties going in this direction, and then they bounce and go in this direction. Something tells me this might be a central portion of our clue. I don't know, or of our quilt. I'm not sure. It's always fun to try and guess where this is going to go in the quilt, but for now we're going to go ahead and sew step 7 above a step 11 units, and I'll come back when it's time to press that all out. All right, I have finished that, and I will tell you it was a doozy trying to get them lined up and sew through the point where our E fabrics are meeting. It was quite the challenge to get that needle through because there's so much bulk right there. There's a lot of bulk going on, but I did it. It's not perfect, but that's okay. I'm going for a finished quilt, not a perfect quilt. So I have 4 of these done. We're going to label them as either section 5 or clue 5, depending on which way you like your naming convention to go, but we have completed 4 of those, and it's time to put them away and get ready for next month and clue number 6.